Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll be starting in a few minutes' time. So as always, thank you for being on camera. I do ask that you have yourselves on gallery view, have the chat open. We will be using it a little bit here. We will start, as we always do with any Selling on the Spot event, with asking you to put into the chat where you are from. So please put in your city, your state or province, and country so that we can get to know you. All right, welcome, welcome. Do we have, yeah, I was gonna say, all Canadians in the house so far, I think. Canada rocks. The Canadians are on time. Where's everybody else? All good. Welcome, welcome. Good. So let's get situated. So please have somewhere to be taking great notes. Maybe have a beverage to stay hydrated. We are here for 1 hour only. We are blessed to have Raymond Riopel and his time for 1 hour. So we will get started shortly. And thank you again for being here live, or to those of you watching the recording, thank you for grabbing the recording. That was the right move. So with that, we'll get started in about 1 more minute's time. Good, more people are coming. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so with that, again, please put into the chat where you are from around the world. And because most of you have trained with me before, I will give you a brief networking opportunity here by putting your audio business card only into the chat. So if you've worked with me, you should have it handy. Maybe even an email to copy and paste. So I'll give you that opportunity because this hour today is going to go fast. So this is the networking opportunities here in the chat only at this time. Welcome, everybody. Lynette, I love the New Zealand background. Nice and colorful. All right, so one more time, thank you so much for being here, and let's get started. Whoop. Hold on. Sharon, if I could just make you a co-host, please. If you could please monitor the waiting room for me and just let them all in. Wonderful. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen for a brief introduction. So thank you. This event today is special. I'm so excited to be bringing this to you. This is part of Selling on the Spot Mindset, one of our divisions. This presentation is called Breakthrough Training Secrets. If you have not met the amazing Raymond Riopel before, then I'm even more excited that you are here with us today. I am Jane Ward, also known as Trainer Jane. I am a communications and sales trainer that was most known originally under the brand of Trainer Jane, and also for Selling on the Spot and Selling on the Spot Marketplace. I proudly am the founder and CEO, a 5-time international best-selling author, and international stage speaker. The Selling on the Spot brand proudly has 10 divisions to serve you, the entrepreneur, business owner, and sales professional. So whether you're looking to sell your products and services and book meetings in our marketplace events, or if you're looking for more training, please check out sellingonthespotmarketplace.com, because we also have the masterclass division, marketing, mastery, media training, the academy, systems, money, resources, and mindset. And again, today's presentation is part of mindset. So with that, I would like to introduce the man of the hour. The way I'm going to introduce him as, for those of you who know of Success Resources and T. Harv Eker, he was T. Harv Eker's protege. He has inspired over 500,000 students around the world. He has trained thousands of trainers. He has sold over $100 million from the stage. So for those of you that are selling from the stage, Zoom rooms included, of course. He is an app designer. He is a best-selling author. I definitely have his book. He is a jet setter. Some of you know that I was even with him on a private jet when we did his mastermind. We flew from Florida to the Bahamas. That was an extra special trip. He's a fellow Canadian and mentor and my friend. So with that, I introduce to you, look at his great energy, global transformation trainer, Robert Raymond Riopel. Welcome, Raymond. Please give him a round of applause.
Jane, thank you so much for that. I'm excited, first of all, because look at all the amazing ladies on this call. And I'm like, am I the
I was
only
trying to work
guy?
a Bluetooth when I was at the office. Maybe that's what happened.
That's what you were trying to do? I understand.
And somebody needs to be muted out.
Well, first of all, ladies, I want to welcome you, and I have a couple quick questions. And I'm going to put my view on gallery view so I can see all of you amazing people. Because one of the things I want you to know, I'm very interactive. So if you like to be interactive, raise your hand and repeat after me. I like being interactive. Excellent. And whether you're on mute or not, I want you to participate fully. So just so I get to know who we have, if you happen to be a speaker or a trainer right now, type yes into the chat box. If you happen to be a speaker or a trainer right now, type yes into the chat box because I want to see who we have. Trainer Jane, she's first in there. She goes, yep. Okay. And if you want to be a speaker or a trainer, but maybe you're not right now, type I do into the chat box. If that's what you'd like to do. Excellent. And can I turn myself up a little bit? Well, I'm kind of shortish anyway. Trainer,
more energy. You sound a little distant, but you're clear.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to go to my settings real quick because Jane actually caught me on one part where I didn't realize my mic wasn't hooked up at first. So let me go to my settings. And it might be that, let's go like this. Can you hear me a little bit better now, Jane? Are you able to hear me a bit better?
I hear you fine. Maybe if everyone could just turn their mics up a little louder, please.
Excellent. And so how many of you have ever wanted to create content that changes people's lives? And type yes if you'd love to be able to do that. Be able to create content. And I love that someone's walking. You don't have to type in. You can give me a thumbs up whenever I ask a question. Got the goggles or the sunglasses on. She's got the earbuds in. I love it. Well, in our very short, like me, time today that we have together, here's what I'm going to do with you is I'm going to give you 5. Everybody put your fingers up like this and show me 5. I'm going to give you 5 critical steps on being able to elevate your ability to deliver amazing content, be able to instruct other people, and even if you don't want to be a trainer, would you agree, give me a thumbs up if you agree, communication is critical in any business and in life. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. Perfect. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies. I only have about 45, 50 minutes of talking time with you. So that means I'm going to ask your permission on something. I don't want a candy coat because you've taken your valuable time to be here, and Jane invited me to come and teach you about what it really takes to go to another level as a speaker, as a trainer, as a coach. I want to be able to give you the brutal truth. I want to give you the behind the scenes that I've gained from 20 years of traveling all over the world, having personally taught over 500,000 students in 3 to 5 day trainings. As Jane said, I've done over $100 million in sales from the stage, and I've developed thousands of trainers in accelerated learning. So if I have your permission to give you just the downright honest truth, be right up front, not candy coat it, type please into the chat box so that I know I have your permission to do that. Yeah, where are the men today? That's what I want to know, right? But hey, here's a reality. In the last 10 years of me traveling around the world, and to give you an example, I'm spending on average before COVID, BC, before COVID, I was flying on average 200,000 miles a year around the world. And for the last 10 years, my audiences are always 70 to 75% women, 25 to 30% men. That's been the consistent mix. And so I want to acknowledge each and every one of you for being willing, because unfortunately for the men, and if you're watching this as a replay, as a man, hear my words. You're going to be taken over by the women. We already have been. And thank God. The world needs that, because men have messed it up pretty well. So ladies, for being here, go like this. Say, I am awesome. I am awesome. That's right. Point at the camera. Say, you, and you. You're awesome. And then say, we are all awesome. Oh, I love that. I love it. We got the showing the guns. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to not only teach you, I'm going to demonstrate. Notice as I want you to, everybody actually take your right hand. Take your right hand, put it up on your head like this. And repeat after me. Say, student hat off. Take your left hand. Say, speaker trainer hat on. Excellent. See, what I'm going to do is not only am I going to teach you, I want you to come from the eyes of a speaker, of a trainer. I want you to watch how I'm doing things. How do I engage you? How do I keep you activated so that you're not just learning? One of many things I truly appreciate about Jane is the camera on aspect. Because how many people, especially in this world today, what do they want to do? Multitask. And multitasking, they're only going to catch a little bit of what you teach them. So the fact that you guys are doing it with camera on, I want you to be present right here, right now. So if you're present, put both thumbs up. Excellent. And I love it. See, we already caught who's not because they didn't know to put their thumbs up. See, that's part of the lesson right there. So take notice. Here's the other thing before we dive in. Everybody take a nice deep breath in. Let it out. Excellent. So to give you an idea of why you might want to listen to this aerodynamic dude on this call, Jane and I have given you a little bit of my background already. Is it all right if I give you a little bit more of who I am and why you might just want to listen? Yeah, give me a hands up if that's okay with you. Perfect. Look, I am fellow Canadian. I love that we have so many Canadians here. I live in central Alberta, and I have a beautiful acreage where my wife and I now live. Love being a Canadian. And growing up, both my wife and I grew up in very poor families. My wife, youngest of five, raised by a single mother. I'm youngest of four. And so when we were growing up here, it was find a job that gives you stability and, even if you don't like it, you work hard and you just do it if it supports your family, because that's the number one goal. And I've done that all my life, but I kept getting laid off and wondering, I'm working hard, I'm staying loyal, what's going on? And another way I'm very blessed. My wife and I, we met when we were 13. We started dating when we were 16, got married when we were 19, and we are about to celebrate our 33rd wedding anniversary. Please do not do the math of how old I am. And I'll tell you, I have no problem admitting I would not be here today talking to you if it wasn't for my wife. Because of my programming, I would be in a job, comfortable, but miserable. And one of the many gifts she gives me is she's not willing to let me play smaller than I am, even if it means kicking me in the ass. Because I'm always open to the coaching. Always, right? Anybody relate to what I'm saying? So here's one key tip, and I want you to write this down. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. And I'm going to explain what that means in a couple moments. So surround yourself with growth-minded people. And Sharon, I can't wait till my wife's planter looks like yours. We're about to start setting it up and getting it growing. Thank you for helping me get that. Love it. She loved it as a Christmas present, so you helped facilitate that. So thank you so much. When I was traveling around the world, I was telling people, I'd be in front of 1,000 or more people, and I'd say, hey, isn't it amazing that you're in a room of like-minded people? And everybody's like, yeah! And then a mentor of mine a year and a half ago, he gave me a paradigm shift. He said, Robert, if you're surrounded by complainers, you are going to be a complainer because you're like-minded. He said, you want to surround yourself with growth-minded people, and here's the difference. They will help pick you up when you stumble. They will be your greatest cheering squad when you're doing well. And then just as important, though, and more important, is they're going to be the ones willing, and please listen to the words, willing to have the tough conversations with you when you're not living up to your potential. And so when you surround yourself with those kind of people, that's a key component right there. So the question I get, because growing up in this family, my wife and I ended up becoming Domino's Pizza franchisees. did okay, but spent way more money than we're earning. I don't mean to shock you. I'm probably the first person you've ever heard of that's ever spent more money than they were earning. Probably, right? Yeah, probably. And we ended up very deep in debt. And because of being introduced to personal development, we were able to actually retire completely financially free at the age of 32, 9 months after learning how to properly manage our finances. And for the last 20 years, that's what I've done is I've traveled around the world helping as many people as I can. My passion being to train trainers, I always get the question, Robert, what does it take to be a great trainer and do what you do? And the first thing I want to say is the first thing it takes, I'm going to share my screen with you here because I love visual. Visual is memorable, is I tell them you have to be tenacious. So write that down. That's the first lesson. Because ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the replay and you're a gentleman, it takes tenacity. People are going to try and tell you why you can't, why you're not good enough, why you don't have the right education, why you weren't born into the right family, whatever it is. People are what I call dream stealers. Now, some of these dream stealers, and let's be clear, they are the people closest to you, friends and family. And they don't do it to be malicious or to hurt you. A lot of them, they do it out of love. They don't want you to get hurt. You know, you tried that before and it didn't work. Don't you remember what you went through last time? You know, really? What if you do it and you fail? And so you have to be the owner of your own dreams. I'm going to say that part again. You have to choose to be the owner of your own dreams. So here's what I'd like you to do. Everybody put your hand on your heart and repeat after me. I am the owner of my own dreams. And say it again for me, please. And say it one more time. Now, give yourself a high five. Say, I am awesome. And give the camera a high five. Say, you are awesome. But don't hit the camera. I don't want it going all over the place. And the reason I had you, because we're in trainer hat right now, left hand, the reason I had you say it 3 times is that helps ingrain it into the cells of your body. I'm working with the subconscious. I'm working with NLP right now. If I had you just say it once and say it out loud, that's one thing. But feeling the vibration and repeating it 3 times, it activates parts of your brain to actually ingrain it so you actually remember it deeper. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense and if that's helpful, okay? So especially when it comes to course creation, you have to be tenacious, which means you have to believe in yourself. So tenacity comes with believing in yourself. Having the blessing of traveling around the world several times, all different cultures, all different upbringings, beliefs, there's one thing that I've noticed that no matter where in the world I am, everybody has in common. Self-esteem issues. And raise your hand if you can relate to that whatsoever. And so the tenacity doesn't necessarily take care of that. What I want to say is there's other things because the world's actually waiting for you to show up and it's waiting for you to be able to show in your greatness. And so it's not just tenacity that we're looking for. You have to be willing to work on you. As a trainer, as a course content creator, you have to work on you because there's a beautiful universal principle that I love that says this, ladies and gentlemen. Your wealth can only grow to the extent that you do. And probably one of the biggest differences I see between people that say they want to be speakers, coaches, trainers, and the people that don't, or they say they want to do it, but they're willing to do whatever it takes, the difference is the people that succeed, they work on themselves. I will never quit being a great student. Although I share the stages with some of the top speakers and trainers around the world, one event I did alone in 2009, I was the host and one of the speakers on an event where we had the Dalai Lama, Sir Richard Branson, Stephen Covey Sr., one of the final talks he did, Barbara DeAngelis, Les Brown, Vishen Lakhiani. Anybody want to be on a stage like that and be able to be in the green room with all those people? you better believe I had to work on myself to get to that level. Otherwise, I would have been in the green room being like, "Ah, bah, 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 bah. Look how amazing you are. I'm nothing." And that's actually a separate tip. Write this down. Be the middle person. Be the middle person. One of the biggest issues that comes up for trainers is that they either look up to someone and compare themselves and think they can never get there, or they look down on people like, "Ugh, you're not worth my time." Ladies and gentlemen, you are the same as everybody else. No one on this call, whether live or recorded, is any better or any worse. One of the things I love to do with my audience when I'm on a stage, within the first 10 minutes, I come down off the stage, I walk into the audience. On purpose, I find someone I know is tall. I ask them if they'll assist me. I have them stand up, stand side by side, look at the camera so they can see it on the jumbo screens, and I say to the audience, I want you to notice something. I am short. And usually I get that kind of a chuckle. People are like, why is he saying this? I'll thank the person, have them sit down, and then I teach the lesson of, just because I'm on that stage, it does not make me any better than anybody here or any worse. I'm just me. I'm another human. Now, is it possible from my experiences I might have information you don't have? Absolutely. But on the other side, isn't it also true, and this is true for all of you, every single one of you has information I don't have. If you believe that's true, type true into the chat box for me, please. If you get that and you know that that's true. So you want to make sure that you are constantly working on you. Do you have a coach? Do you have a mentor? You know, last time I think physically before our flight that trainer Jane and I saw each other. We were sharing the stage at an event in Toronto. And I said to her, I said, look, I think you'd be perfect. I've got one seat left on a private jet mastermind I'm about to do. It's next month. We're leaving from Florida, going to the Bahamas. It's $5,000 US. She didn't even hesitate. She was in. And that made me know this is a person I want to work with because she makes a decision and then she stands by it because she's willing to work on herself. And I never expected the trip would be exactly what it was. But when all of a sudden we're getting picked up by white Rolls Royces, a full police escort through the city to a beautiful Sandals resort, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And between me and our 8 students that I had there, we started creating 7-figure business for everyone. Because of the fact that we're willing to grow ourselves. Had we come in with, well, I know everything. And how many of you have ever, and you don't have to answer this one, I just want you to think. How many of you have ever been in an audience and the arrogance of the trainer on the stage just totally turned you off because they believed they knew everything, you knew nothing? See, we're just all humans. So work on you. So here's what again, hand on your heart. Repeat after me, please. I love working on me. Say it again, please. And then one more time. Because I deserve it. Give the camera a high five. Say, yes, you do. And now give high fives sides and up and down. Say, we all do. We all do. Well, I love it. We got the karate of high fives going on. This is cool. And so being willing to invest in yourself. There's a reason why I am still a student. I just did my exit call from a 1-year mentoring program I was the student in because the person, she had information I didn't have, and I was more than willing to pay her very high fee to learn how to impact and connect with affluent clients. And I'll tell you, even though I didn't go throughout the whole year and take every piece of information in, the nuggets of gold I got allowed me to go from having the timidness of saying, you know what, it's time for me to go up to a $25,000 program, to all of a sudden launching it and bringing on my first clients with it. Because I looked at things a little different on how to go to the people who really are willing to pay for my services. Because here's what I want all of you to get. Does not matter what level you're at right now. There are people that are waiting to learn from you. And I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to give you an example. And this example, I'm not going to do this to put pressure on you. Please understand that. This is not about putting pressure on you at all. I want you to understand the importance of who you are and what you have to bring to the world. It is said that every single one of us is a piece of a puzzle. And just so you know, I'm not an artist. That's my puzzle piece. And if I can draw like this and people understand it, you can do it as well. And the saying says that when you find your reason, your purpose for being on this planet, the moment you put your piece of the puzzle in place on the global universal puzzle board, you automatically, without even having to think about it, you actually end up giving 1,000 more people permission to put their piece in place. I'm going to let that one sink in for a moment. So again, not about putting pressure on you. But see, none of you would have showed up for a call like this if you didn't know somewhere deep inside of you there was even more greatness in you to really be able to share to the world. And think about this, ladies. If you putting your piece in and you starting to be willing to really share your knowledge, maybe it's to one person, then maybe two, maybe five. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I'm going to talk about those steps in a couple moments. But all of a sudden you put your place in, all of a sudden 1,000 more people can put theirs in. And for each of those 1,000, 1,000 more each can put their piece into place. Are you starting to get how important you truly are to this world? So put your hand on your heart, repeat after me. I am important. The world has been waiting for me to show up. And I am ready to show up. Give yourself a high five. Say, I am important. You, and you're all important as well. Now, if you're learning something already, type learning into the chat box for me, please. If you're learning something, and if this is helpful, you can type learning or helpful. Excellent. Let's go into our third tip here now, because again, and it's amazing how time can fly by so quickly, Jane. It always blows my mind, and I just want to keep giving more and more and more. So I want to make sure I give value. I will say, if you have questions throughout anything I'm doing, type it into the chat boxes. Jane's going to be watching it. So at the end, if I have a few extra minutes, I'm going to ask or answer specific questions for you. The third step is this. Quit trying to do it on your own. Quit trying to do it by yourself. Oh my goodness. And I'm a world champion at this. This is, the Olympics are on right now. I am a gold medalist on trying to do things on my own. Anybody else? Raise your hand if anybody else is that way. You can kind of relate to this. Wow. You're good. You're great. You have amazing knowledge. But when you're trying to do it by yourself, you're only accessing a little bit of what's possible. And when I started really engaging this and ingraining it, I finally got my own first virtual assistant. And the moment I've seen how she's just rocked things for me, I'm like, why the hell did I wait so long? And I will not do without a virtual assistant ever again. And I'm actually looking at bringing more on, because here's a rule in your business. Write this down. Comes from one of my mentors. I love it. I live by it. And this is for in your business. You can only do what only you can do. I'll say that again. You can only do what only you can do. Okay, Robert, what the heck does that have to do with training and speaking and coaching? Well, the reason most of you meet, and I'm not speaking that I know you, but I know. One of the reasons whatever level you're at, you're getting stagnant, is you're trying to do too much. So you're only allowed in your business to do what only you can do. So if you're great at being the coach, be the coach. For me, if someone books me to go and do a live training, I can't send someone else. They booked me. But I don't book my flights. I don't do all the logistics of it. I have someone else take care of that. So my focus is on what produces the income for me. If you're understanding this and you're getting it, give me a thumbs up. Yes? Excellent. And so this takes vulnerability, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to write this down. Vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is strength. People think of it, and they've been taught being vulnerable. And I can only imagine for women as well. You know, women, you can't show your strength. You have to hold yourself and be there and be strong, but the silence strong. And so what do? You internalize it. I can't show vulnerability, right? Vulnerability when you're willing to ask for help. And I'll give you real world. So I have an amazing friend by the name of Aaron Huey. We've trained around the world together for 15 years, impacted lives. And a gentleman, a former student of mine said, Robert, you know, I want you to design some courses for my students. And I want you to design a 5-day camp. I said, absolutely. And so the first thing I did is I got a hold of Aaron and I said, Aaron, here's the deal. And he was kind of humming and hawing because for 15 years of working together, we've done a lot of work for people for no cost, low cost, or promise you'll get paid when we see some results. And we just are, even ourselves are now starting to own our value. I said, Aaron, this is different. I said, I'm charging him a very nice fee. He has to pay the majority of it up front before we write a single word. And he's like, yeah, if that's the case, I'm in, but okay. And it took me a couple months of going back and forth with the person who wanted me to contract. And I remember the day I emailed him and I said, or I messaged him, I said, Aaron, I said, are you ready to start designing? He goes, okay, is it going on? I said, well, I need your bank account so I can wire half the funds to you. He's like, pardon me? We're already getting paid? He said, how much did you ask? And I told him the nice 5-figure amount I asked. And he's like, you're kidding me. I said, no, I'm not. See, now today to design courses, I get paid 5 and 6 figures to design a course for someone else. Why? Because I've been content creating for 20 years. I kind of figured out what works and what doesn't. And so my wife said, okay, well, Robert, you could have designed this on your own. Just out of curiosity, why'd you ask her? And I said, because on my own, I could design something amazing. But when the two of us get together and we start brainstorming, what's created is phenomenal. See, every single one of you has great knowledge. And that great knowledge will help people. But when you come together and maybe co-create, write those words down, co-create, or I guess that's one word, hyphenated, however. See, I'm not the smartest at everything. Co-create, you'll be blown away by what you can do. And I'm going to give you another insight. See, we've got this camp that's now, and I designed it. I hope you get this little nugget of gold. We designed it so that we have to be the facilitators for a fee. Huh? Right? I'll train the person how to do it, but it's going to take them 3 or 4 times. And when I get paid to go around the world teaching and I'm physically on stage, I get paid a lot of money. And so we created it so we have to be the facilitators for the first few times. So you see the revenue stream we're creating here. Is this gold? Raise your hand if you believe this is gold. Yes? Excellent. And so when we started creating it, and it's now mind-blowing, it's in August. And so I said to him, because I like creating revenue. If you like revenue, put the $ into the chat box. I want to see who likes revenue. Because I don't want you to do this for free. I want you to learn how to make revenue. I think, Jane, that was one of the quickest responses. Oh, and it's multiple dollars. I like that. It's like, you're talking our business. You're talking our language, right? So I said to him, I said, you know, why don't we do this? I said, why don't we I have another group of people I sold a package to in Europe and in Asia. I said, and part of it is I have to do a 3-day training with them. I said, why don't we take the material from the camp, the actual data, put into this 3-day training so we can prove it to see if it works. And we'll make more revenue because we'll give a great price for people to come to it. And they'll actually get to see how we, and we'll be able to test it. And he's like, I'm on. And so all of a sudden we created that and we decided, we did it, we started selling it. Oh, here's a secret. Write this down. If you want to know the best way to create courses, these words will change your life. Sell it first, then create it. I'll say that again. Sell it first, then create it. I had a nice high 5 figures hit my bank account before we created the first even word of this camp. Plain and simple. And now we're monetizing it in other ways, and we haven't even taught it for the first time. We know it's going to be hot, but we're going to monetize it as many ways as we can. Write these words down. Every piece of information can be delivered in multiple ways. Every piece of information can be delivered in multiple ways. What does that mean? If you do a talk, record it, then get it transcribed. Because now some people are visual, some people are auditory. People can read what you just did the talk on. You can then use it towards your book or a lead capture, a PDF. Most people are working way damn too hard trying to do things again and again and again. Go to Fiverr.com. There's a woman, and I'm going to put it in the chat. She's the one I use. Her and her team are amazing. This is her tag name in Fiverr.com, Vanago. Every one of my podcast interviews that I did, and I haven't recorded one for about 3 years, I did 104 interviews. As soon as I do it, I send it to her and her team, and for 15 minutes of recording, she charged me $5 to translate it or transcribe it. And now on my website, I have every transcription of every one of my podcasts. Oh, and what's my virtual assistant doing right now? She's taking 4 or 5 episodes at a time, turning them into ebooks for lead capture. Oh, and I want to write another book. She could take them and put 10, 15 together and another book's written. Raise your hand if you're getting the magic of this, ladies. Okay, and I'm only giving you what works in the real world. So quit trying to do it on your own. That trap will pull you down so quickly. Let's keep going because I've got another one for you. Ooh, ooh, I got some more. Ooh. Oh, yeah, you can write that one down as well. Have fun. Life's way too short not to have fun. Oh, and actually, I'm going to take you off screen share. I want to ask this question. I want to see your response. Raise your hand if you know people that are way too serious. Now, raise your hand if you know them intimately. Like they're sitting in your seat right now. Thank you for being honest. I appreciate that. You got to have fun. Life is too short not to enjoy it. And that's why you surround yourself with the amazing growth-minded people. Look at the community that Jane has created. I love it. So the next key to being a phenomenal trainer is this. In real estate, they say location, location, location. Jane knows that. Well, in training, it's practice, practice, practice. Oh my goodness. How many people, they say, Robert, how do I do what you do? And I tell them, if you want to do what I do, you've got to be willing to do what I do. The unsexy, monotonous, pain in the ass, behind the scenes work of practicing so that when you're delivering, you're amazing. And let me be clear, the lack of practice is the biggest downfall of almost every speaker and trainer that is mediocre or worse. So I'm going to let you know as well, I only ever teach what I do myself. I'm in the middle of writing, Jane showed my first book, which is an international best-selling book. And I love that she showed it and branded it for me. Of course, look behind me. I'm branding for her. Yep. That's joint venture. That's making sure you quit trying to do it on your own. So my second book, which is called The Authority Key, which is all about how to not only become an authority, but the deep work on you to be able to handle it and keep it. And I thought, well, I got to prove this. I want to see you. I want to prove what we're doing. And so I actually decided, someone told me about a great little website called Pod Match. Type that down, Pod Match. And this website, what it does is it matches podcast hosts, people who have podcasts, with podcast guests. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to practice. I want to write my book, but I want to practice. I want to see how it sounds. Instead of me just standing in front of a camera or, thinking it sounds good, I want to see what kind of reaction. And last year, at the end of the year, I spent 5 months. Everybody hold up 5 fingers. 5 months, I did 167 interviews as a guest on 167 different podcasts. Why? Because practice. 2, I was listening to how it felt delivering my material. 3, here's the gold. Every single one was recorded, and I have the replay link. I now have 167 social proofs that I actually am an authority on something. And because I asked each person for a review, on Podmatch, I have 120 5-star ratings and reviews, which you better believe I'm going to start putting on my websites. See, you say you're good. People go, that's you. Other people say you're good. That's social proof. Got it? If you got it, type got it into the chat box. That's the key. Practice, practice, practice. When I mentor students, that's the hardest thing, is getting them to do the practice. And a lot of the times it's because of self-doubt. What if I make a mistake? What if I stumble? What if I just suck at it? And here's what I tell my coaching students and my mentoring students. I said, I wouldn't be working with you unless I saw something in you. Let me be your greatest cheerleader until you've got the confidence in yourself. Confidence, not arrogance. And when someone is a mentoring student of mine, here's our agreement. They pay me $25,000 up front for a year of mentoring. And the role is, I'm going to give you action steps. And it's an agreement up front, even though you've paid me up front. When I give you an action step to do, you're not allowed to contact me again until you've done it. And some people I don't hear from for 3 or 4 months, because as a mentor, I don't have time to coddle them, to coach them. Is if you want to get where I'm at, you got to be willing to do legally, ethically, morally what I'm teaching you to do. And so I love to see then when people, I love my mentoring students that the next week I'm on the phone constantly with them, because as soon as I give them an action step, it's done. I give them another one, it's done. I don't even have to think about what are they doing. Is this making sense, everybody? Okay, and is this helpful? Is this helpful? So put your hands on your heart, repeat after me. I commit to practicing my craft. And say it again, please. And then one more time. Give yourself a high five. Say, I am an awesome practicer. Camera, high five. Say, you're awesome practicer. And then let's go all over the place. We're all awesome practicers. Excellent. And, and again, this is where having great coaches and mentors in your life is so key, because they're the people that can see what you're not seeing. Aaron and I, we are starting to teach people how to content create. And one of the ways we're doing it, and I'll give kind of background again, that 3-day, so we took and we're designing a 5-day camp. We've now decided to take the 3 days and put it into content for a virtual training so we can prove the content. But for some of our students, we've offered them a 4th day. Now, if you want to know why, type Y in the chat box. If you want to know why, type Y in the chat box. Excellent. And if you didn't type Y, you've got to close your ears for this part. Just saying, okay? So you can't listen if you didn't type Y. I love that you're willing to have fun. Is for some of the students, we said to them, we're going to come back a few days after the training's over, and we're going to get back on a call, and we're going to walk through that training, how we created it, why we did certain parts, and we want your input of what worked, what didn't work, what could be done differently next time. We're going to teach you how we created the content. So now those people are going to be not only getting to experience the full-on life-transforming training we're going to do, because it works on the biggest things that sabotage people's success. If you've ever sabotaged yourself, raise your hand. If you tend to do it daily, like I've got both hands, both feet up on this one. I know how to sabotage my own success. So we're going into the 7 roots of why people sabotage and then how to get through those so that it doesn't anymore. And part of that is getting to know who you are. You've got to own who you are. And so we're going to do a very powerful process. So when we come back for that 4th day, we're going to dissect the whole training to show them how they can actually be creating their own content, because our belief is let's lift everybody. Let's not just lift ourselves. Let's lift everybody, because again, every single one of you, go like this, say, he's talking to me. Go like this, say, he's talking to me. Has amazing content the world's been waiting for. And if you believe that's true about yourself, Give yourself a thumbs up. Excellent. So, and again, I'm just being very transparent of how we do things, because I've gone through years of making nothing, helping a lot of people. I want you to help people and make great money, because the more money you make means the more people you can help. The more money you make means the more time you have to be at home, the time you have to be with family, because do not believe that your family has to pay the price for your success. I'm all about balance. Even when I was flying 200,000 miles a year around the world, I took 6 months a year off. Raise your hand if you'd like to be able to do that. Okay? Family's important. And now that I'm not flying, I'm standing in an office that we built with a 1,500 square foot training center beside me on the other side of this wall that I've just about got complete into my super Zoom room. So when I do this training that I'm going to be doing in a week and a half, I'm going to be able to see everybody on the screens. I'm going to have a couple camera angles. I'm going to be on a stage instead of having to be stuck in front of a camera or a computer, because I'll be mic'd up, and I'm going to make it an experience, because I'm adjusting with the times. Write that down. Adjust with the times. How many people get stuck in thinking, oh, it's always been done this way. This is how we're going to do it. Yeah, I think the last couple of years has changed us, or taught us all that that's not true. All right. So now, the next one. So we said practice, practice, practice. Here's the next one. Don't give up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching a replay, don't give up. I love that, the book, 3 Feet from Gold. And it's, people go, Robert, how do you have staying power? And it's because I don't give up. When I go into something, I commit full on. Write these numbers down. 100% or 0%. 100% or 0%. See, if you can't commit 100%, why would your students, why would your audience, why would your clients? And here's the rut that most people fall into in all areas of your life, not just being a trainer or a speaker, is they've got the plan B. Well, if this doesn't work out, my plan B will be this. And the moment you put a plan B in place, where do you think your mind's going to be focused on? Oh, thank goodness I have this plan B. Because this is a little rocky right now. When I commit to something, I don't, if I have, I have many faults, but one of the faults that some people have said is that I'm way too loyal. I just keep going when others have given up. But see, I'm loyal to my dreams, my family's dreams. And just because a little hiccup comes, that's life. Well, Robert, this was a big hiccup. That's life. What's more important, your dreams or starting all over again from scratch? The shiny object syndrome. Oh, squirrel. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. And wondering why you're being pulled in all different directions. Got it? So put your hands on your heart. Repeat after me, please. I don't give up. My message is too important. There are people waiting to hear my message. It doesn't have to be everybody. Even if it's just one person. My message is important. So I choose not to give up. Give that camera a high five. Say, you're awesome. You're awesome. And again, look, ladies and now gentlemen, because I see that Fred's joined us. Woot, woot. He's helping balance it out. I love it. When I started and decided to follow my path as a trainer, my dream wasn't to travel around the world, impact hundreds of thousands of lives, and then from those 500,000 to millions and millions. That wasn't my dream. My dream started with, if I could help one person. Everybody put one finger up like this for me, please. One person do what my wife and I had been able to do, go from being financially in stress to financially free, it'd make it all worthwhile. And because I started with that dream, today I have personally taught over 500,000 students. Oh, and I'll tell you this. Oh, I got goosebumps on this one. It took me 18 years to personally train over 500,000 students around the world in live trainings. Those 5 months that I went on to Podmatch and did a hard push, between those interviews, I was put out to 1.5 million people in 5 months. That's a little bit of a difference. 18 years to get 500,000, 5 months, 1.5 million reach. And I'll tell you, I'm going to send Trainer Jane a link to Podmatch. I'm going to recommend you go on to the free version. And what I will do is that for those of you that decide to use the link and go on for the free version, some of you might do the paid later, that's fine. But even if you do the free version, I will help you fill out your profile. I'll get you to fill it out because it actually gives you a template to walk through on here's your screenshots, here's your call to action, here's your biography so that a person can see it. And once you create it there, you can actually use this same one sheet to give to people to book you as a speaker. That's another reason to use this. I will actually commit to all of you, and it won't cost you a single penny. You send them to Trainer Jane once you filled them out. She can send them to me, and I'll give you my enhancements of what I think would make it even more powerful, if that's something of interest to you. Okay? So, but again, I'm going to have you do the work. I'm not going to write it for you. I want you to go in and follow the steps and the template. They've beautifully done it. Then send it to Trainer Jane. She'll send it to me. I'll write my enhancements and send them back. Cool? Excellent. So as we're wrapping up, we're going to see if there's questions in a moment, but raise your hand if you've learned something today. And raise your hand if you found this very, very valuable. Excellent. And anybody want to spend more time with me? How about with the amazing Aaron Huey as well? Even if you haven't met him, this guy, he is phenomenal. Okay. One of the reasons Jane was willing to put this call together is because I said to her, I'm going to ask for some help. I've got an event coming up on March 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's going to be a very intimate event. It's the one I was sharing with you, where in 3 days, we're going to spend about 5 hours, 6 hours each day. We're going to cover we're going to unveil for you 7 things that sabotage your success, then give you the skills to overcome them so they don't anymore. And we're going to do a really deep dive into who you are. Because until you own who you are, you can't project fully who you are to the world for people to get it. And this is going to be such a life-transforming 3 days. But also, this is the one where probably 3 or 4 days later, we're then going to actually hop back on a call with the certain people, even fewer people, and we're going to dissect the training because we want to help people, trainers, speakers, really be able to understand how to content create. Now, because we're doing this as a way of helping check in if we're on the right track for our 5-day training that we're doing in August for the person that hired us to do it, we decided to put into a really, really, really powerful deal. And I'm going to teach you something else because we all still have our trainer hats on, correct? If you shook it off, make sure it's still on there because I want to give you the real numbers. I want to give you real information if you can handle it. Give me a thumbs up if you can handle the truth. All right, everybody say, we can handle the truth. Go like this. Drop your voice. Say, we can handle the truth. Excellent. The price I'm going to give you is not a big money maker for me. And because I've asked Trainer Jane for help, I said, let's JV and do a 50-50 split. See, I don't want to do it by myself and have to try to do all the sales. I'm honored. Listen to the words. You might want to write that down. I'm honored to share revenue with other people. Do you get that? And I'm being real with you on the numbers. So we discounted as much as we could because we can take a lot off of it because of the fact that we're using this also as a learning experience to really prove a concept. Practice, practice, practice. Now, before I give you the price, I'm going to let you know, because it is mainly based for people in Europe and Asia, the time zone may be a little inconvenient for some of you. It is, for those of you that are on the East Coast, it is going to be a 5 a.m. start each of those days. I will be up starting at 3 a.m. Mountain Time. I have someone coming in from the West Coast that's going to be 2 a.m. starting. And it's going to be a great way to start the day because even if it's, say, 6 hours, I'm done from 3 a.m., I'm done by 9, and I'm good to go. It's going to be intensive. It's going to be where you have to participate at 100%, like you're doing now, cameras on, because we're going to use a lot of Zoom breakouts. Aaron and I are going to teach concepts. We're going to be putting you in processes to deep dive. There's going to be laughing. There's going to be crying. There's going to be a lot of hard work done. But you're going to come out the other end knowing who you are, feeling amazing, and ready to take on the world. And that may sound like I'm promising a ton, and I am, because I know what we're going to deliver. Aaron and I have been doing this for a long, long time. And now what we're creating together is just spellbinding. So your invitation is to join us on that. And the price that we've brought it rock bottom down to is $495 US. And so what I'm going to recommend is, if this is something that you think might be of interest to you, I'm going to put a link into the chat right now. This is the link where you can go and get registered. It's a one pay because it's so close. If you have, can't just do it, but you want to be there and you need to have a conversation, I'd say contact Trainer Jane. Let's see what we can work out, because it is, a week and a bit away. I know it's kind of last minute, 2 weeks away actually, but I'll tell you, this is going to be maybe 20, 25 people on the call. We're going to go so deep working on each of you individually. It's going to transform your life, thereby having an impact on the 1,000 people that you will have an impact on to start with. So with that, and Jane, I don't know if you're monitoring chat to see if there's any question. I kept having it scroll because I would do a lot of stuff. So we have the last couple minutes, because I'm like Jane, I'm all about honoring my time and finishing when we're supposed to. So if there's any questions, we can either do it by raising hand, Jane, and I'll let you kind of decide the best way to do it.
Sure. There have not been any questions in the chat yet. Everybody's busy taking notes and high-fiving and keeping their hat on. So if anyone has a question, if you could please unmute, this would be your opportunity. That means put your hand up quick. Who has a question? Brenda, awesome. Go for it. Oh.
Okay. Hi, Robert. It's great to see you again. I was in Toronto with Jane when you came to Toronto.
Oh, no.
I was at the booth. So my question for you is, when you were speaking about the focus, focusing all on one thing. If I'm starting something new and I want to put everything into it, it's not generating income yet.
Got it. So let me make a little clarification. I'm glad you asked that question. So first of all, give her a round of applause for the question, or you can do this, whichever works best for you. It's not necessarily having to focus 100% on one thing. It's giving 100% to what you commit to. So if you're even starting part-time, when you're working on it, commit 100% of your focus at that moment to what you're doing. So for me, I use what's called focus time. You might want to write that down. On my calendar, I will actually book in focus times to work on things like writing my book. And depending on the research you go by, the research I go by, it says you can only really focus 100% for about an hour before your mind starts to wander and you get distracted. So I'll put, say, like 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., write book. And when I come into my office, no other distractions. I write for 1 hour. And what's kind of cool is, because I give it 100% in that hour, I've been tracking and watching my own results. For me, 1 hour of focus time is equal to about 6 hours of me being busy with distractions. Anybody relate to that? So that's what I would recommend for you, Brenda, is even if it's part-time, when you're there, you commit 100% to that. If you can't, then don't do it. Make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. Excellent. Anybody else? Have a
Wonderful. I
question?
think Natalie had a question as well.
I have a question. Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Jane. Hey guys, I'm in New Zealand. I was just trying to figure out the timing. I'll look at the sales page, but how many hours is it? Like, it goes from the start.
6 maximum each day.
Oh, it's 1
5
hour.
hours. No,
5 to
hours
6
minimum, 6 hours maximum.
Oh,
So
got you.
Between 5
Okay.
and 6 hours each day.
So
Yeah,
5 a.m. for you guys, 5 to 6 hours. Got you.
Yeah. So
Wow,
I'll be
that's
teaching
super generous. That's a ton of your guys' time.
You're welcome. And look, we're benefiting from it as well. And that's why, we want to do this. So yeah, I'll go from 3 a.m. teaching myself, and I'll be done by 9 a.m. Because if we go the full 6 hours on each one. Yep. And New Zealand time. So you're about 18 hours ahead of me. So 3 a.m.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning right now. So.
Oh, okay. So it's 11 o'clock and it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock here. Yeah. So yeah, you're about that. So perfect. That means it'll be 11 a.m. start or 11 p.m. start for you.
Like 11 p.m. I was hoping it was a.m., but I think I think it's
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
AM for me, it's
PM
gonna
for
be
you,
PM
Natalie,
you.
Bummer.
You
Okay.
get to tell us how the
Thanks.
day happened because you'll already be at the end
And
of the day.
send me the lottery numbers. Send me the winning lottery numbers so I
Exactly.
know. Perfect. And
Natalie
Sheila, I
always
think,
knows the future.
perfect. Yeah, Sheila, I think you had a quick question.
Yes,
and
I do.
then-
Could you elaborate a bit? Could you elaborate a bit on sell it first and then create it?
Yeah, so I went to the person that wanted to contract to me. I said, here's my fee and all that. And he was willing to pay it. Then he actually brought me to Florida, and I stood on stage in front of 300 people. And I said, we're creating this camp. This is what we're going to do. Here's what it's going to be. It's in August. And we gave him a great deal. And 130 people on the spot signed up for that camp. And I hadn't even written a single word of the camp.
Okay.
I had just written the sales copy of what I knew I wanted to put in it. So now Aaron and I are creating, and we do 2 or 3 meetings a week creating. And all of a sudden our minds are exploding because we're going, oh my God, what about this? We did one yesterday and we were just both like giddy little children, like, this is going to be amazing. And so that's what I mean by it. That way you have the money cha-ching in your pocket before you even write a single
Is that your little dance, Robert?
Ching, cha-ching,
Okay.
ching, 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 ching,
Gotcha.
ching. All right, so Trainer Jane, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Ladies and gentlemen who are on the live one, thank you so much for your time. I hope you got some value, and I would be honored. I'd be honored if you joined us on that 3-day training because it will change your life. That's my promise to you.
Thank you so much, Robert. Oh my gosh, I'm so appreciative of you taking the time to speak to my amazing global community. And again, please give him a round of applause. A nice big round one. Absolutely. I know I personally took almost 3 pages of notes, and I hope you have as well. Please join us in this training. I will be there as well. I definitely want to be completely absorbed into the March 4th, 5th, and 6th event. So for all of you, I think you all have my email certainly, so you can reach out to me if you have any other questions after this event today. I will also help you in regards to that pod match link as well. So do not hesitate to reach out. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will also email all of you that information as well as the recording. Okay.
And,
So thank you again. Please join us. Please take action. Robert, you were
Jane,
saying
one
something?
other thing I totally forgot about is
Okay.
Next Friday at 5 a.m. my time, I'm actually, one of my masterminds is going on for their monthly mastermind, which is a 2-hour talk. And I'm bringing on an amazing friend of mine out of Brazil. She is a powerhouse. And anybody who registers, I will invite you to be able to come to that 2-hour mastermind with us as well as our guest for signing up as another little bonus.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Gotta love bonuses. Again, thank you all of you for being here, for fully participating. I guess we're taking the hat off now.
Yeah, or you can stay if you're in creative mode. Stay in that trainer hat. That's fine.
Exactly. But stay 100% committed to all of yourselves and focused as well. So thank you one more time, Robert. Thank you all of you for participating. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you at another amazing Selling on the Spot event. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.